So let's go with the first one, which is kind of probably the last of kind of the old school in terms of kind of when his era was, and that was Alan Shearer.
Mm-hmm.
And then all-time record Premier League goal scorer. He's got to be in there, hasn't he?
Yeah, do you know what? The fact that he'd won a Premier League was probably what swayed it for me. I know this is maybe controversial. I was very close for going Harry Kane. I was very close for going Kane. Just because of the way he's carried that Tottenham team, and the impact that he's made for them and the goals. But just because of the fact that you're right, Shearer is the top scorer of all time, and he's won a Premier League as well. You can't knock him. It's a shame for Shearer. Well, shame. I think because of the way that football's evolved, everyone forgets about him. It's been the sort of slow poacher, limited striker. But no, he was good. He was strong, and he was so good in the air. And then people slagged off the celebration, but I liked the.
Yeah, I mean, it's an iconic celebration. I've been outside his statue at St James's Park.
Nice.
But then also, like, again, I know you get the debate with kind of goal scorers, and like, when everyone gets a golden boot at the end of the season, everyone's like, oh, but he was a penalty taker. But you still need to be composed in those situations, and Shearer was very composed and didn't miss many of the penalties that his team won either.
Yeah, he had a really hard shot, an iconic hard shot. When he hit them, they stayed hit. I remember Shearer like probably towards the end of his career, probably from like 2001 onwards to when he retired. That sort of era. So never really in his palm. But obviously, watching Premier League years, you sort of look at him, and the thing is with Shearer though, he was scoring big games, and when you're like playing for a smaller club, and Newcastle weren't like gonna. Okay, they sort of challenged a little bit, but they weren't really challenging. But he was still scoring the big games. He wouldn't just be against the smaller clubs. So Shearer's a no-brainer for me. He's a no-brainer, especially if you're going for three strikers. Like you've got to put him in there.
And he was always that player that Alex Ferguson said he wished he'd kind of signed as well. That he wished he'd gone over to Manchester United instead of Newcastle. But again, he did the thing that was closer to his heart and went home to play.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't think he'd be the record goal scorer if he was at Man United. I think there was a lot of
probably more competition. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think he's got any regrets with that.
Cool. I don't mean to be unfocused. I'm just checking the Forest score.
It's FA Cup, isn't it? Who are they playing?
Yeah, we're in the fourth round replay against Blackpool.
You drew 2-2 at home, didn't you?
Our two centre backs are the one who've got us goals today, and yeah, it's 2-1 to Forest.
Very good.
Right, let's go. Let's get back to the Premier League action. And again, I think let's go for the Arsenal legend that is Thierry Henry.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you could probably argue, obviously, I know we said about probably not having wingers, and I wouldn't categorically say that Henry was a winger, but he was so influential kind of on the wing when he first came to Arsenal, running down that left-hand side. Obviously, had Bergkamp in the middle. He kind of had to settle with that kind of further wide position to begin with.
Yeah, he did, and then he's just sort of transformed himself into this centre forward. But it was always better coming in off the left, Henry. The iconic just shift onto the right foot and finesse. I think he was the one that invented finesse. Especially in the FIFA games, all because of him. I don't think you can look past him. The only thing with Henry was he was done dirty, if not winning a Ballon d'Or in 2003 or whatever it was. He really got did dirty over Pavel Nedved, I think, won it that year. Henry was different class. And I remember the Invincible season, watching the documentary, and Arsene Wenger was like, every time they're 1-0 down or they're drawing a game, he's like, I'm not going to panic because Thierry's not scored yet. He was just brilliant. And injury sort of caught up with him towards the end of his first spell at Arsenal, but he is iconic, and I don't think there's a more scary centre forward than him. The way he could just solo goals from the halfway line, run past people. His shooting was unbelievable. And
I think you can't
have to be in the game.
Yeah, and so you can't. I don't think you can't knock him for kind of going back for his kind of swan song for his second spell. Or I think obviously he probably left at the right time in terms of where Arsenal was going at the time when he left for Barcelona.
Yeah.
but yeah, no, so say some iconic goals, and again, when you, and I'm quite sad with kits, but when I think of kind of iconic kits that Arsenal have had, like even the 0-2 one, the Burgundy one, it's just say Thierry Henry.
He just had that arrogance about him that you can justify. I think you can get players that can justify that arrogance. You just know, wow. And he's someone that I think was appreciated after he left and retired, especially for people, for people of like our age, where it's like, wow, this guy was just different level.
Yeah, the only fault I have with him is him denying Ireland the chance of going to the World Cup when he handballed it. But
it's ball to hand.
That's the French. Let's move on to our final striker, and again, I think when you, I don't know if, well, I think I'm just going to say it. I think when you think of iconic Premier League in terms of its kind of tenure since '95,
yeah,
Manchester United are the club that everyone will probably say first. So I think it's hard not having this player in as their top scorer. So Wayne Rooney has got to be in there.
Yeah, I mean, I've also gone for Wayne Rooney, and I was close for going for Aguero, and then I was close for going for Suarez. But then I think you're right. I think ironically though, Rooney had one unplayable season, and it was the year that they didn't actually win the league in 2009, 2010. That was his unplayable year where he was. Do you remember he was like scoring headers every week? It was like how many headers could he score? Rooney was different class. The thing is, people always think he could have done better than what he did, but he's still Man United's record goal scorer, England's record scorer. Well, I think Kane's now got that, but he was England's record scorer, wasn't he? But yeah, it's just
I mean, I don't think you can argue with it, and I think I think he's kind of a bit cult hero-ish for kind of our generation as well, like Wayne Rooney street striker era and the T90s. Yeah. I think like he brought so much kind of our youth, like wearing
he's a street fighter. He's a street fighter, wasn't he? Just
like wearing T90s with jeans was a thing because of Wayne Rooney. Like it was just like everyone wanted to wear them because Rooney wore them. And say iconic goals, like obviously his goal at for Everton on his debut, his number 8 Rooney era at Manchester United and the goals he scored then.
Newcastle, the goal against Newcastle when he was pissed off with the ref and just volleyed the ball from 35 yards in the top corner. Yeah, it was iconic when he won it. It's over a kick against City, and that was after he'd handed in a transfer request and he was the bad boy at Old Trafford, and then he comes in and does that. A lot of iconic moments for Wayne Rooney, actually. The more you think about it, like, and even later towards the end, Jack, when he scored that goal against Tottenham after getting beat up by Phil Barsley, he's doing the knockout celebration. A lot of
halfway line goal and like so. Yeah. There's a lot to say about Rooney. Even his halfway line goal for Everton again when he returned, like to Everton.